Bullet.
For the
Oh,
dive
Romeo
by
Doubs.
Romeo.
Touch.
Romeo. I'm in the end zone.
Love it.
We play the hits here on the Drury. And by play the hits, I mean we talked to Aaron Nagler and bask in the glow of carrying the G. Aaron Nagler, like all of our Packers insiders, are brought to us by Rogers Behavioral Health, Hildebrand Law, The Great Taste of Miller Lite, and Orthopedic Associates Wisconsin. There definitely is a difference. Good afternoon, Nags.
Good afternoon, boys. How we doing on this fine Victory Monday?
Oh, Victory
Listen
Monday.
to that jump. Little bit of skip in his voice there, right there after a victory.
That's right.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm always up for it there, KP.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
Yes, indeed. Plenty of good yesterday. The Packers, that's the closest thing we've seen to a complete football game by the Packers this season, is it not?
Oh, easily. Far and away. I mean, you talk about all right, we won't talk about the kicking, but other than that,
we will, but not right now.
Yeah, fair. But, you know, all phases, complimentary football, everything you've wanted to see from this team, I think you saw it on display yesterday, no doubt.
We were, I would say, one missed field goal and one Xavier McKinney interception from a perfect Sunday.
I mean, seriously, there's no doubt that, I mean, McKinney had his time, right? He's washed now. No interception? What are we doing here? Absolutely. The worst free agent signing ever.
Hashtag fire Goody. Come on, let's get that rolling.
What are you doing here? I mean,
come on.
It's kind of crazy that that's the expectation now, though, right? That he is like, we got to the fourth quarter on Watch Party, and all of a sudden, Corey and I were like, wait a second, we need to get him an interception. Like, we need to put them in a position where they have to like push the ball down the field. Just never really materialized, but he still played an outstanding game. That defense, they're starting to figure it out. You love to see it.
They're starting to figure it out. And Nags, one of the key guys I couldn't take my eyes off yesterday was a gentleman who joined me and Billy Schmidt on Packers OT, Evan Williams. Oh,
yes,
my.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Bonded and barreled.
I mean,
bottled
you
and
talk about
or whatever.
An exciting rookie who now 2 games in a row, they've handed him that spot opposite McKinney. And you talk about rising to the occasion. We saw this summer, kid's got all the talent in the world. You know, you did wonder when he was going to be able to get on the field, and these last 2 weeks with their adjustment, putting Bullard at the, you know, that slot corner, big nickel kind of safety role, getting Williams on the field has made a big difference. I can't remember a rookie safety coming in and playing at this high a level right out of the gate. I mean, usually you think, okay, a week or two of like trying to assimilate, trying to get used to the speed of the game, etc. Man, he has hit the ground running in 2 games here.
He is that mix of good athlete with a high football IQ, and I'm here for it.
Seriously, no question about it.
When he I think we used the word corralled, and I think he liked that, but corralled Kyler Murray, and he just came and he could have chased the play and could have chased the running back, but he held and then to, you know, hold your ground and then bring down Kyler Murray, who's pretty shifty. I'm like, oh man.
Well, the way
he just jumps off the screen.
Absolutely. And we said, I got very excited on Watch Party during that play, because how many times, whether it's a safety or any other position, have we seen a Green Bay Packers defender in that type of scenario where either they crash down the line and the quarterback pulls it and goes for a big gain, or they recognize it, right? And they know that the quarterback is going to keep the ball, but they can't come to balance. They throw themselves at the ball carrier rather than coming to balance the way Evan did on that play. I'm telling you, man, that's high-level stuff from a kid who has now played, 3 total games? He started 2. I mean, this is the start. It's exciting stuff for Evan Williams.
He's got good football sense, Nags.
Yes,
good
he does.
Sense.
Yes, he does.
You know what I love about watching this team is I love how interesting this offense is. And, you know, I've been saying that when Jordan Love comes in, maybe we'll get to see what Matt LaFleur's offense actually looks like.
Right.
And we are now. And as I watch Jets games and watch the Packers, it's like the Packers are using AI and the Jets are still using a typewriter.
I mean, look, it's weird to me watching Jets games because I see Mike McCarthy's offense, and I thought that's what Aaron Rodgers was bristling at the end of Mike's tenure. But now you see all like the static formations, lack of motion, and they do a little bit of that. But yeah, you watch the Packers and it's all condensed formations, motion, getting guys out on the edge in space. all this stuff that, was a little absent down the stretch there when Rodgers was in town. But, yeah, the playbook is wide open now. And, look, you're getting contributions from everybody. I mean, Ben Sims caught 2 balls yesterday, for God's sakes. If you're a defensive coordinator and the Packers have their full complement at wide receiver, tight end, what have you, who do you key on? I understand you're probably focusing on Jaden Reed, but, man, they can kill you in any number of ways with any number of guys. It's just got to be a nightmare as far as being a coordinator, trying to figure out, okay, what's the tendency here? Because there really isn't one yet.
That, the illusion of complexity is the phrase, right?
A lot of that, yes, 100%.
I just love when they have Jaden Reed, and I don't know where he comes back and he runs toward the
orbit
running back, and he's kind of
yep.
hopping around back there, and you go,
Yep.
I didn't even know that was legal.
Well, what's fun too is that now they're kind of throwing in another wrinkle with Bo Melton doing some of the same stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of that is because his mom and dad were in town or what, because the brothers are facing off. But you talk about a fun aspect of, by the way, Jaden's not the only guy who can do this. Again, as a defensive coordinator, now you've got more stuff to worry about. So
I'm old enough to remember Christian Watson on some jet sweeps. He can do that too.
Exactly. I mean, and I think we'll probably see that as the year goes on. We'll see. And they've done that once or twice this year already.
Yep. The epitome of their creativity and the illusion of complexity was the Tucker Kraft quarterback sneak.
Love it.
Love it. I love it. And then I knew it was coming, and on social, like, why are they burning that now? Why don't they save that for a game against Detroit in the last minute when you're 4th and 1 or something? It's like, because they can spin off of it and do something else.
Right. Something else. And what's funny is they did that before. I can't remember if it was Tunyon or one of their tight ends a couple years ago where they had a very similar looking play and they had to, snap to a tight end on a short yardage play. But yeah, I mean, Tucker has quarterback in his background. So why not, right?
And Billy and I were saying, give me the 255-pound tight end going and lunging between in the A gap rather than the $220 million quarterback.
Thank you 1,000,000%. And look, it wasn't even like the play as designed really did the work. I mean, Tucker did the work on that play.
He did.
The second effort there is what gets you the first down. So yeah, I'm with you on that 100%.
Yep.
And on Mondays we give about game balls and kicks to the balls, and this is kind of apropos. I'm going to give a kick to the balls to the announcer at the Packers game yesterday, who said, "The Packer push!" and just screamed it. It's like it was the greatest thing in the world. Can we please not do that?
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
No, that's such a hack.
Today. I thought it was funny.
That's such a hack thing. No,
the Packer push?
No.
That's what they say?
No,
that's what he called it. And he did it in the moment. It wasn't a replay.
Yeah, but let's not adopt that.
He queued it up live.
Let's please not adopt that.
You're just miserable, KB. You sound like Corey. That's banky. Every time I get excited about some celebration or something, like back in the day, they had the Packers shark. And they did this. They did the Packers shark. Corey's like, ooh, that's
not
so
original.
I love it.
The Eagles had a chance to do a tush push play yesterday and didn't do it, and they got stuffed.
Well, yeah, and
that's their thing. Don't copy it.
What do you mean? Everything in the league is copied.
Okay, I was going to say.
I
mean, if you watch the Bears literally threw a touchdown pass on a play the Packers ran last year to Musgrave. They ran it to Komet in London. Yeah. Everybody steals.
And Komet
That's just the way it works.
We are talking with Aaron Nagler, cheeseheadtv.com. All right, we're basking in the positives because then I got to throw in the clouds. We got to talk about the kicking.
Are you contractually obligated? I don't think so.
There are two things we have to, because we keep it real on this show. We got to talk about the kicking, and also we got to talk about the Cardinals, who I found out from my friends in Arizona have now gone a span of 46 games, or to put it in more stark terms, 1,034 days without winning back-to-back NFL football games.
How insane is that? How insane is that?
Insane. And they were riding high coming off of San Francisco. And then, so I'm trying to do the balance thing. It's like, the Packers played a really good game. I was really impressed. The Cardinals might be bad. It's the NFL.
It's the NFL. You never apologize for winning, right? It's a victory. You marinated it and you dominated.
That's
people
true.
get so upset, it's a bad team. Yeah, and they dominated a bad team. That's what they're supposed to do. You celebrate that, right? Now,
I'm with you there.
As for the Cardinals, are they great? No, they're talented as hell, though. They've got talent in ton of different positions. And like you say, they just beat the 49ers. It's not like they're like the sisters of the poor here.
Yeah, they're not a
So,
bunch of stiffs. And
my
and
thing-
to see Watson sprint past Buda Baker is like,
oh my
okay,
goodness.
I'll take
Oh my
that.
goodness. What a play. What a seed from Love on that throw. But the thing is too, it's like, look, man, they only play 17 of these, right? And you got to cherish each and every one of them. And if your team wins, man, I'm throwing a parade.
That's
I
why
love
we're
it.
going to drink from the chalice of tears in a little while.
100%.
Absolutely, it's what we do.
100% correct.
That's what we do.
That's what
All
you
right.
do. And here, before we get off this, just real quick,
Oh, yeah.
I am fascinated to see heading into next week against a team that has a whole lot more talent on display at wide receiver, right? Because
True.
they've done the last 2 weeks, yesterday and then last week in LA. Okay, we've moved Nixon to the perimeter. We've got Evan Williams on the field. We're very different, kind of different setup than how we started the season as far as the secondary goes. I'm fascinated to see what happens when we get a full complement of real talented wide receivers. And they're even without one, but they still have a ton of talent at wide receiver. The Texans do. This is going to be a true test. Like, yes, they were very good yesterday, and you tip your cap and well done. But man, this is a whole nother animal coming into Lambeau next Sunday.
True, and there's a lot to love. Again, and I don't want to be Mr. Negative. I'm not going to be a Mr. Poopy Pants here. But okay, so
misery guts.
On the positive side, though. Oh, and by the way, the Ben Sims, the Twinkle Toes Act, he would have had a Tuckercraft touchdown. That might have been Love's worst ball of the day.
Oh, the one that's way behind him and low. Yeah,
low.
That's
if he hits him there,
shout out to Sims though. He caught it. Well done, buddy.
Okay, Nags, the positive, the reemergence, well, having Watson back and Doubs back and having Doubs catch 2 touchdowns, the reaction, we're done with that. We can close that chapter, and that was the best way to close that chapter.
100%. And that's what I, said on my post-game chat. Like, that is the perfect bow on the scenario, situation, whatever you want to call it. They've obviously dealt with it internally. We, on the outside, we know he got suspended. Now he's back scoring touchdowns. We move on. I think that's a perfect kind of bidding adieu of whatever was going on with Romeo. Seems to be in a better spot now. I love to see him in the end zone celebrating with his teammates.
Well, another one of my game balls is not going to Romeo on that play, but it's going to his teammates who came down, and it was that was just a really kind of
hug was dope.
That was kind of a special moment. Is it a silly, but it was just kind of like, we got you. We got you, bro.
100%.
And I love it. More. And that to me said there might be something special about this team.
I think so too. Yeah. The cohesiveness, the togetherness, you've seen glimpses of it, but to see kind of a manifestation of it there in that moment was pretty special and pretty
What's
great.
Special is how cheap the wide receiver room is, and then looking down at the defense and seeing Bullard, Cooper, and Evan Williams being like, this window is going to be open for a while, and they're all
I know,
getting big snaps and being on the field for big snaps. Okay, we're talking to Aaron Nagler, Cheesehead TV, as we do on Mondays on the Drew and KB program after Matt LaFleur finishes at the podium. By the way, I had to rip LaFleur for saying he doesn't look at the standings and knowing that the Texans are coming in 5-1.
Saw that. I heard that. That was good. That was good. Hey, well, he only looks at the AFC standings, Drew. He doesn't look at the divisional NFC North standings. That's what he's talking about.
That's what he meant. That's what he meant.
Come on.
Okay. The kicking situation. What's your thoughts? I heard Belichick say today, and it sounds like the right approach. Like the only time he said it's a tough situation. You have to gauge, how strong a guy is mentally. Kickers go through slumps. They have ups and downs. Yep. You know how strong a guy is and what his support system is. But he said, if it changes the way you coach, then it's time to make a change. If it changes third down calls, if it changes the way you coach. And I get the feeling LaFleur's not there yet because they went right back to it and kicked again later. And they've done that before. So, we can try to guess where the Packers are with Braden Arvison. Where's Aaron Nagler with Braden Arvison?
Oh, man, he should have been cut after the Vikings game. Are we serious right now? Here's my thing. Like, to your point, you're talking about Belichick, talking about the change the way you coach. Matt doesn't have any say in the matter. Like, I understand that Matt gets asked about it. He's the face that we see publicly. But it's Brian Gutekunst's roster. Brian was the one who sat up there this summer and said, I need to be more patient with my specialists. Well, you gave Carlson a whole year, including 2 playoff games, and then you moved on after training camp. So does that mean we've got Arvison come hell or high water for the next year plus? I can't imagine a world where we're sitting here watching this kid miss kicks every single freaking week. And people are talking about, it's going to cost us eventually. It's already cost them. They'd be undefeated right now if this kid makes his kicks. And I do think it's
Well-
affecting Matt's. I do think it's affecting Matt's coaching because look, has this kid tried one 50-plus yard field goal yet? I don't think so.
I don't think
From
he
my
has.
my recollection throughout the season, that was something that was pretty standard operating procedure when Mason was in town.
That's a
And
good
even
point.
Mason wasn't like 100% on his 50-pluses, but
They tried them.
he attempted them. Matt has not even attempted them this season. And I think it's because he knows Narveson ain't it. So I think this is entirely up to Brian, down to Brian, trying to figure out what the hell to do at this position. Because right now, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to say this kid is not ready right now. Maybe he is years from now, but the Packers don't have years from now.
True.
They got to figure this out today.
Well, but I keep getting the feeling, I keep hearing Brandon McManus, that name, and I'm like, oh, we just went through a whole summer of Trevor Bauer talk.
I can't imagine the Packers would touch that with a 10-foot pole. I will say this. The kicker for the Cardinals this week is a guy that the Packers worked out 2 weeks ago. The Cardinals have their kicker hopefully coming back. Maybe they release him and the Packers pick him up. That's possible.
Okay. Oh,
There's
maybe
a few things they could do here, but man, Narveson, that ain't it. That ain't it.
Well, they may have hesitated giving up Carlson because they invested draft
In the
capital on
draft
him.
capital, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
possible.
you want to?
I just can't handle this kid coming out on the left hash again and again and again, and knowing there's minimal chance he's going to make it. Now, he came back in this game and hit the second one, but guess what? The first one counts too.
I'm
They're
with you. He
supposed to be
leads the league
practicing
in
this all
misses. He's missed 5 and 6 games, and he
Oh,
leads the league. And there's okay, all right. I just want to know where you were.
I mean,
Did you see
here's the
D'Amico?
positive. You want to keep it positive?
Yeah,
He's made all the extra points.
That's
Carlson
true.
missed a bunch of extra points last year. This kid at
Oh.
least has made all the extra points, so just keep scoring touchdowns.
I'll grant you that. Did you see D'Amico Ryan said that Jordan Love's going to be the best quarterback they've seen this year, which makes people question Josh Allen and his. Is he just doing that to
I
tweak?
did see that, and you know what? God bless him. You know the
I
man
tell you,
being Jordan Love, the man tied for the league in touchdown passes, and he didn't even play in 2 games. So
I'm telling you,
tells you how he's
that-
swinging it.
that pass that made you go crazy.
Oh my goodness, the 4th
That
and
was
1 to
so.
Watson.
I mean, that was Rodgers. That had Rodgers' touch all over it.
The fact that he fits it in a window that is basically non-existent on a 4th down, gotta have it play. Insane and great work by Watson to go up and get that ball.
And we also, I know you're going to do a whole show with Billy Schmid. I did Packers OT with him last night. He is the guru of offensive line. They kept him clean and all the blitzes. There was all kinds of zero blitzes once they got frustrated and down in the game, and they kept him clean and let him work, let him cook, and it was pretty epic.
Great work in pass pro and in the run game. Loved it.
Speaking of Billy Schmidt, you guys have an announcement of some significance, as we say on the Drew and KB program, or like a pretty big announcement coming up tomorrow on your program.
We do. Very exciting times. We have a very special kind of recurring thing happening each and every week on Carry the G Radio, each and every Tuesday at noon Central. Make sure you tune in to find out what.
I am excited to listen. Nags, thank you for joining us. Keep carrying the G, my brother.
Thanks a lot, gentlemen. Talk to you next week.
You bet. Aaron Nagler, Cheesehead TV, brought to us on the program.